Being chosen seems like the ultimate blessing. Who wouldn't want to be special, gifted, or uniquely destined for greatness? From movies to ancient myths, we see the chosen ones effortlessly achieving what most people only dream about. But behind all that glamour and mystique lies a hidden, rarely spoken about reality that's far less appealing and far more complicated. What people don't realize is that being labeled chosen often comes with a profound sense of loneliness and inner turmoil. Imagine having incredible talent, spiritual gifts, or insights nobody else seems to possess. On the surface, it might sound empowering, but in reality, it can be incredibly isolating. Friends, family, and even communities sometimes fail to understand your experiences or feelings, leaving you trapped inside your own head. For many gifted people, it's like speaking a language no one else understands, desperately wanting connection, but always feeling somehow disconnected. This invisible struggle often translates into anxiety, self-doubt, or even silent depression. Ironically, the people admired most, those artists, visionaries, spiritual guides, or prodigies who inspire millions, frequently admit in private moments that they're secretly fighting battles nobody knows about. The pressure of maintaining an image, of constantly needing to live up to expectations, can become overwhelming. Society tends to romanticize talent and exceptionalism, but the real-life weight of these labels can feel crushing. Take well-known artists, musicians, or spiritual figures who've bravely opened up in recent interviews or memoirs. Many have confessed that, despite their outward success and admiration, they regularly question their worth and worry about disappointing others. This paradox, the gap between how the world sees them and how they see themselves, creates a painful divide that few truly understand. But it doesn't stop there. The deeper truth about the hidden suffering of the chosen ones goes beyond simple isolation or pressure. There's something even stranger at play, something tied to a controversial idea that's recently sparked heated debates online. It's a theory suggesting their suffering isn't random at all, but might actually have a shocking and deliberate purpose. The moment someone is labeled as special or chosen, expectations immediately skyrocket. Friends, family, and even complete strangers start viewing that person through a different lens, expecting nothing short of greatness in every aspect of their life. But what happens when these high expectations become impossible to fulfill? For many gifted or uniquely talented individuals, the burden of constant expectations creates invisible pressures that slowly wear them down. Imagine feeling like every move you make is being judged, evaluated, or compared to some ideal version of yourself. Every success only sets the bar higher, and every failure feels devastating. There's little room for mistakes, and even less room to be human. Think about famous child prodigies, spiritual leaders, or celebrities who've publicly broken down after years of quietly struggling. Many have spoken openly about feeling trapped, locked inside an identity created by others, constantly worried about disappointing those who believe in them. Recently, several young celebrities and internet personalities have shared heartbreaking insights into how damaging this pressure can become, revealing panic attacks, burnout, and a desperate longing for escape behind the scenes. What most people don't realize is that these expectations don't just come from others. The chosen ones often internalize them too. Over time, they begin to judge themselves even more harshly, punishing themselves for not reaching impossibly high standards. This internal voice of criticism often leads to intense anxiety, self-sabotage, or worse. And yet, despite all this hidden pain, the public rarely sees past the surface. The world still believes the chosen ones are effortlessly thriving. But there's another layer to this struggle, a surprising and deeply controversial explanation gaining momentum online, suggesting these impossible expectations aren't accidental, but something designed intentionally by a higher force. Lately, an intriguing and controversial idea has surfaced online, sparking heated debates among spiritual communities, influencers, and even psychologists. It's the belief that the intense suffering and pressure faced by the chosen aren't accidents or mere bad luck. Instead, some argue it's actually part of a deliberate divine test, purposefully designed to challenge, refine, or even break them down, forcing them to evolve into something stronger. This concept may sound strange or even unfair at first. After all, why would anyone, especially someone uniquely gifted or spiritually aware, need to endure such harsh tests? Yet advocates of this theory point to numerous spiritual texts, myths, and historical examples that seem to support their views. Across many cultures, heroes, visionaries, and chosen individuals are consistently portrayed as having endured profound hardships before achieving their full potential. But here's where it gets controversial. Critics strongly argue that labeling someone's suffering as a test can dangerously romanticize pain or trauma, minimizing the very real struggles these individuals experience. Over the past few years, fiery debates have erupted online around whether it's helpful or harmful to view personal tragedies or struggles as some kind of cosmic challenge. Some psychologists warn that this narrative might increase pressure and self-blame, while others argue it gives suffering valuable meaning and purpose. Still, there are countless personal testimonies online from spiritual influencers and motivational speakers claiming that viewing their hardships as divine challenges completely transformed their outlook. According to them, it provided hope and direction, turning despair into determination. This debate shows no signs of fading anytime soon, as people passionately share experiences, stories, and conflicting opinions, each side convinced they're right. But the real story behind why the chosen suffer goes even deeper and gets stranger than this controversial theory suggests. Because for some individuals, this divine test is only one part of a much darker, much lonelier reality. One of the hardest truths about being chosen, gifted, or uniquely talented is just how incredibly lonely that path can be. From the outside, these individuals often seem surrounded by admirers, friends, or followers. Yet privately, they may feel entirely alone, trapped inside an experience no one else seems to understand. Imagine having insights, gifts, or talents so unusual or extraordinary that most people simply can't relate. Maybe you sense things deeply, experience the world differently, or have a heightened intuition that others dismiss or misunderstand. This can lead to painful isolation, even in crowded rooms. It's like being fluent in a language no one else speaks. Over time, that disconnect can grow into an unbearable loneliness, hidden beneath a mask of calm, confidence, or quiet strength. Recently, several celebrities, spiritual leaders, and even social media influencers have shared candidly about feeling profoundly isolated despite their apparent popularity. In interviews, podcasts, or heartfelt online posts, they've opened up about the loneliness of being seen as special or different. The more admired they become, the more difficult it often feels to form genuine connections or friendships. Many admit secretly wondering if anyone truly likes or understands them, or if people only see them for what they represent. Yet paradoxically, this loneliness often goes unnoticed. The outside world continues to envy their special gifts, rarely recognizing that those same gifts can create distance rather than closeness. And as isolation deepens, the chosen ones may even begin questioning their purpose, wondering if the pain of being misunderstood is really worth it. But even this loneliness doesn't fully explain the deeper mystery surrounding why the chosen must endure so much suffering. Because lurking just beyond loneliness is another idea, an eerie theory that some say explains it all. The rumored curse that haunts those who seem touched by greatness. In recent years, whispers of something strange, something even unsettling, have emerged online. Forums, podcasts, and spiritual communities have buzzed with the controversial idea of the so-called curse of the gifted. It's the eerie belief that exceptional talent, spiritual insight, or extraordinary potential comes at a hidden and sometimes tragic cost. At first glance, this theory sounds wild or exaggerated, but look closer and troubling patterns begin to surface. Throughout history, incredibly gifted people often face tragic personal struggles, broken relationships, mysterious hardships, unexplained losses, or intense emotional turmoil. Some people speculate that these aren't just random, unfortunate events. They're part of an invisible price tag attached to extraordinary gifts. Stories shared across social media hint at chilling coincidences. People mention how certain famous musicians, artists, or spiritual leaders often endure strangely similar tragedies. Relationship breakdowns, personal betrayals, or emotional crises at the height of their success. Internet discussions passionately debate whether these occurrences are mere coincidences or evidence of something darker and more intentional at play. But why would being uniquely gifted come with such a dark price? According to some spiritual influencers and theorists, the extraordinary energy these individuals carry might attract negativity or challenges meant to keep them grounded or tested. Others argue it's simply the weight of being different, being too perceptive, too talented, or too spiritually sensitive, which attracts unwanted struggles and misunderstandings into their lives. This intriguing and unsettling theory recently sparked widespread curiosity online, with thousands of people sharing personal stories of gifted family members, friends, even themselves, experiencing similar hardships. And while skeptics dismiss this idea as superstition or coincidence, believers passionately insist there's a real hidden curse behind extraordinary gifts. Yet even this haunting idea doesn't fully answer the deeper mystery of why the chosen ones push forward despite such intense suffering. Because beneath the rumors, curses, and controversies lies something even more compelling, an inner drive that makes their pain somehow worthwhile. Given all this hidden pain, loneliness, pressure, and even rumors of curses, you might wonder why the chosen ones continue to push forward. Why keep going when the journey seems filled with more struggle than reward? Surprisingly, the answer isn't complicated, but it is deeply powerful. For many gifted or spiritually aware individuals, it all comes down to a sense of purpose, an unshakable feeling deep within that their pain has meaning and their struggles serve a greater good. Even when overwhelmed by loneliness, anxiety, or intense pressure, something inside them whispers that their journey matters. They sense they're here to do something significant, to leave a mark or help others in a way that only they can. Psychologists studying exceptional individuals have found something intriguing. Even in their darkest moments, many gifted people find strength by believing their struggles aren't pointless. They believe that overcoming each challenge helps them grow, evolve, or even inspire others. Online, countless stories are shared by individuals who insist they've turned their pain into purpose, transforming suffering into empathy, creativity, or spiritual wisdom. This inner drive isn't just motivational, it can literally save lives. People who've battled intense emotional turmoil, crippling isolation, or personal tragedies often report that this powerful sense of purpose kept them going when nothing else could. Rather than breaking under pressure, they discovered resilience, turning trauma into strength and isolation into meaningful connection. Recent viral posts and personal testimonials online further reinforce this truth. Influencers, artists, and spiritual guides openly share how discovering their life's purpose or calling allowed them to endure and even appreciate their hardships. These heartfelt confessions resonate deeply, reminding anyone who feels misunderstood or burdened by life that their unique struggles aren't random. They're part of a bigger story. Yet there's one more important piece of this puzzle, a truth that shifts the entire conversation. Because the idea of being chosen isn't reserved for just a few. In fact, the most surprising revelation about the chosen ones might completely change how you see your own journey. So being chosen isn't exactly what it seems. Behind the fame, the talent, and the admiration lies an intense journey filled with hidden struggles, loneliness, impossible expectations, controversial theories of divine tests, and even whispered curses. But these painful realities aren't meant to discourage. Instead, they're meant to reveal something crucial. Maybe being chosen isn't just reserved for a few gifted individuals or rare spiritual leaders. Maybe the struggles and the suffering you faced in your own life actually hint at something important, that you too have a unique purpose. The truth is, everyone who endures hardships, isolation, or misunderstanding might be chosen in their own way, guided by their challenges toward deeper strength, greater empathy, and profound personal growth. Your struggles don't define you negatively. They define your ability to rise, evolve, and inspire others. And perhaps that's the real secret of the chosen ones. Their journey, filled with pain and isolation, is ultimately about transformation and hope. The very thing that feels like a curse might secretly be the most meaningful gift of all. So the next time you find yourself suffering quietly or feeling misunderstood, remember, your story matters. You're not alone, and your struggles might be proof that you're walking the path of the chosen.